Welcome back. You're watching News9 Live with me, Neha Khanna, and joining me in the studio is my colleague Krishna Kumar. And over the next few minutes, we're going to decode and dissect for you a very interesting story that has emerged from the Northeast and which has the rest of India talking. Let's now talk about the pursuit of happiness. Here are some interesting facts for you. India ranked 126th in the 2023 World Happiness Index, and Finland ranked number 1 in the same index, following other Nordic countries such as Denmark and Iceland. But did you know that Mizoram is the happiest state in India? Well, that is if a recent study is to be believed. The study was carried out by Rajesh Pilania, a professor of strategy at the Management Development Institute in Gurugram. The study says Mizoram has attained 100% literacy and provides its students with opportunities to develop their skills even under challenging conditions. It's only the second state in India to have achieved 100% literacy. So what are the parameters of this happiness index? Now, according to this report, Mizoram's happiness index is based on 6 parameters, primarily family, relationships, work-related issues, social issues and philanthropy, religion, COVID-19's impact on happiness, and physical and mental health. But why is Mizoram India's happiest state, you might ask? Well, the picturesque northeastern state, Mizoram, which means the land of Mizos, topped the happiness index primarily because of its youth, who are said to be highly motivated. The report says the youth in the Mizo community, irrespective of their gender, tend to pursue financial independence from a very young age and consider no task as too small. Parental pressure for academic success is relatively low here, and there is very low incidence of gender discrimination in the state. Additionally, Mizoram is a casteless society. So on balance, if the findings of this report are to be believed, Mizoram is a model state fit to be emulated by the rest of India. Let me now bring in Krishna into this conversation. Krishna, it's all about the pursuit of happiness, isn't it?
Yes, and the question is what happiness is, I would say.
How do you even define it? But who could have thought Mizoram, the happiest state in the country?
Oh, you're talking about a 100% literate state. Let's face it, you're talking about a 100% literate state. It's a state, people go all around the world, all around the country, working, studying, learning. So, I'm not surprised in that sense, a 100% literate state which can, process this new complex world that we live in is the happiest state in the country in the year 2023. So, in the sense that Mizoram doesn't surprise me. Yes, they have a lot of difficulties and they have their own concerns and issues that they deal with, let's not forget. But the fact of the matter is that if the index says they are the happiest people, and is despite their own individual concerns and region-wise, location-wise concerns, they emerge as the happier state. Now, you're talking about the World Happiness Report, in which Finland has been ranked as the happiest country in the world for 6 straight years.
Yes.
And the funny thing is that there are a lot of critics of that World Happiness Report, which is a UN-sponsored report by an outfit which publishes the World Happiness Report. And it also has about the same parameters that you talked about for Mizoram as well.
Right.
The thing is that they say that, what is happiness? Is that it is satisfaction with your lives. Yeah. That's what the World Happiness Report measures. When it comes to the term satisfaction with your life, are you satisfied with your life? In a scale of 0 to 10, you have Finns, the people of Finland, voting the highest. The joke is that most of the Finnish people do not even know that they are the happiest people in the world. First time
they had to be told.
Yeah, the first time the report came out, they're like, really? Because they're supposed to have some kind of as part of their culture, sweet melancholy, which is part of their culture.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're supposed to have sweet melancholy and then sudden joyous displays of whatever. How are we ranked the happiest?
Too much pressure, I think, to now be the happiest people.
And in fact, they have in their culture this thing about not bragging about your happiness. In fact, that's their rule number 1. Do not, it's apparently an old fable saying that do not brag about your happiness. Do not compare yourself with others. That's actually one of the key factors of their happiness. They're very one with nature. In Finland, they understand the importance of nature and they understand the importance of community. And there's trust within the community, showing up for your community and not just for yourself. So all these 3 factors make Finland a very, culturally a very happy place by its own. But the problem is that the index and its parameters, in this index, India was ranked lower than Pakistan and Sri Lanka.
126.
Exactly. So obviously there's something flawed with this index and flawed with this mechanism of understanding happiest country in the world, because bear in mind there's Bhutan as well, happiest country in Asia according to some surveys, and happiest country in the world according to many surveys. So there is Bhutan, which has a gross national happiness index,
Yes.
that like a GDP that it actually tracks. So let's not forget there's Bhutan as well. But back to Finland and all the Nordic countries, so they have good social support systems, great education. Again, same things that happen in Mizoram as well.
Yeah.
So in that sense, so that these factors contribute to that. But they say, even according to the World Happiness Report, if you were to take other factors, the maximum number of times you experienced positive emotion. If you were to take that as a category for happiness, maximum number of times you experienced positive emotion, then Latin American countries like Paraguay and Guatemala come out on top, higher than Finland. If you take another parameter, which is the most meaningful life, you found a lot of meaning in your life, which people did. You have some African countries like Togo and Senegal.
Yeah.
So finding meaning in life, experiencing positive emotion, experiencing satisfaction, these three are, if you ask me, three different things. I'm just hoping that, in Mizoram, they have all three of them.
You are beginning to sound like a Zen master. So I will tell you that you already have an alternate career option in place, Krishna. The day you decide to hang up your boots as a journalist, I really think you can be a great Zen master and preacher. But, since you said, did the people of Finland really know that they're the happiest? I can bet that the people of Mizoram are also wondering, really, are we the happiest in the country? But, we've listed the parameters on the basis of which these findings came out. One thing that I found very interesting is that apart from the fact that Mizoram has 100% literacy and there is very little gender discrimination, something that we unfortunately see in the rest of the country and indeed the world, but what I found most interesting is that according to a lot of those who were surveyed, there is relatively very little parental pressure as far as academic performance is concerned. As somebody from the north of the country and someone from the south of the country, be honest, Krishna.
Delhi University and colleges in Chennai, oh goodness me, talk about it. Cutoffs.
Right, the cutoffs. I mean, if you look at today's cutoffs, I went to Hindu College in Delhi University, and if I look at the cutoffs today,
I went to Loyola College in Chennai.
I don't think I would have ever made it going by today's cutoffs, right? I mean, thank God we graduated back in the day. But be honest, while growing up, how much pressure did you face from the parents?
A lot. Now, the funny thing is that this is actually a problem across the country, especially in all the big urban centers where parents are aspirational about the future of their children. And that's why you had a film called Tare Zameen Par that got made and that got a lot of adulation, especially in the big cities of the country. So this is a big city problem, if you honestly ask me, this parental pressure on children. All big cities have
to
it.
get into IITs and IIMs. Nothing short of that would do for most parents, or the IS, of course.
Of course. You're leaving out the top two. Doctor, lawyer. If not, then let's talk about the other things.
Exactly.
I come from a place where we send doctors out to the US, from Chennai. So there is all kinds of parental pressure to take up particular professions, highly lucrative professions, and hence crack the exams to those professions. And that is a problem. And again, taking a leaf out of Finland's book. Finland says, do not compare yourself. Do not brag about your happiness. So all these factors, when you start living, living the life, I'm guessing it changes. And also greater equality, parity that you're talking about, the fact that there is greater gender parity in Mizoram. And also because of 100% literacy, there is a lot of opportunity parity within Mizoram. Nobody feels like, I can't make it in this state because I have as much opportunity as anybody else, and that's very important. That's the reason why literacy is one of the most important goals for any state, any society, any community. Now, I come from Tamil Nadu, which has about 83 to 85% literacy. And now, even then, Tamils are ashamed that 50% of their state still is not literate, whereas you have Kerala right next door.
Sharp contrast to the north. I don't even want to get started on, how the north performs with regard in comparison.
Delhi does have it high, 85%.
Yeah,
so...
No, it's apart from being the national capital, it has a very cosmopolitan culture.
True.
It's a melting pot. You have people coming in from all parts of the country. But, like I said at the start of the show, life is all about the pursuit of happiness. Be honest, Krishna. All this while, you were contemplating moving to either Finland or Bhutan, weren't you? Now, are you wondering, is Mizoram the place to be?
No, definitely. First of all, I think more Indians should learn to travel within the Northeast. I've been meaning to do Northeast trips for a long time.
And educate themselves about the region, right?
And
we need to do that
absolutely, too. Absolutely. For me, just before the pandemic broke out, unfortunately, I had this entire Northeast trip planned, and the entire plan went for a toss. But I have it in mind that I'm going to do an extensive tour through the Northeast and understand them as people. Because let's face it, we've worked with so many of them in newsrooms in Delhi and in Bombay. North Indians, South Indians have worked with so many people from the Northeast. Their approach to nature, again, taking another leaf out of the book of Finland, which is very similar to Mizoram, their people as culture, as communities are very close to nature. That also aids in their pursuit of happiness.
Absolutely. So let's be honest here, as somebody who belongs to Delhi and as somebody who comes from Tamil Nadu, after the survey, Krishna and I have decided it is time for us to, at the very least, visit Mizoram to find out what their secret of happiness is. Well, that's all the time we have on the show. It's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye from Krishna and me.